All right, Sani Abacha once said, he said, any insurgency that lasts more than 24 hours in a nation, note that the government official are behind it. Watch this video.
The former Attorney General of the Federation is now facing another fresh set of charges that could be even more serious than the corruption case he was just released from. We all recall that Malami and his family were in Kuje prison for the past weeks for alleged money laundering and bribery during his time as the Attorney General, where he and his family allegedly laundered Nigerian money and bought expensive houses in various locations across Nigeria. The court granted Malami bail just last week, and he was released a few days ago from Kuje prison after meeting the strict bail conditions of N500 million each for himself, his wife, and his son. Nigerians thought he would at least enjoy some time at home with his family before the next court hearing scheduled for February 17th. But now he is going back to that same prison again, and this time for something even more shocking than corruption. Before his release, the court had ordered EFCC to take over some of the houses that Malami acquired through his alleged money laundering schemes. Following these orders, EFCC officials went to search his house in Kebbi State to formally take possession of the property and document everything inside. To their complete surprise, they discovered a cache of arms and ammunition hidden in his house in Kebbi. A former Attorney General, the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, the man who was supposed to prosecute criminals, has suddenly turned into an arms dealer. This is how far Nigeria's politicians have fallen. What in God's name would someone like Abubakar Malami be doing with illegal arms and ammunition in his house? This is the question every Nigerian is asking right now. Malami was not a soldier or a security officer. He was a lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and the Attorney General of the Federation. Why would such a person need a cache of weapons hidden in his house? The only reasonable explanations are all disturbing. Either he was involved in arming criminals and terrorists, or he was preparing for some kind of violent activity himself, or he was storing weapons for other people who are involved in criminal activities. No matter which explanation is true, it shows that Malami is far more dangerous than anyone initially thought. The EFCC, upon seeing these arms and ammunition, immediately contacted the Department of State Services, which has the constitutional power and expertise to investigate matters relating to arms, weapons, and terrorism. The DSS has now taken over this aspect of Malami's case, and Malami is now fully indicted for illegal possession of arms and potential links to terrorism. He will be returning to prison while the DSS conducts a thorough investigation into where these weapons came from, how he acquired them, what he intended to use them for, and whether he has been supplying weapons to terrorist groups or criminal gangs operating in Nigeria. Terrorism has been one of the major issues facing Nigeria, killing thousands of people, displacing millions, destroying communities, and holding back national development for over a decade. When people like Abubakar Malami, who are supposed to interpret and uphold the law, are found with illegal arms in their houses, it means something has gone terribly wrong in Nigeria. How can the person who was supposed to be prosecuting terrorists and criminals be potentially involved in arming them? How can the Attorney General who should be fighting illegal weapons be storing them in his own house? This is a complete betrayal of the trust that Nigerians placed in him when he was appointed to that high office. It shows that the corruption in Nigeria goes deeper than just stealing money. Some of these politicians may actually be involved in the violence and insecurity that is destroying the country. According to the DSS, the arms and ammunition recovered from Malami's house were not licensed weapons. This is very important because in Nigeria, certain people like former government officials can legally own firearms if they have proper licenses and permits. But these weapons found in Malami's house were completely illegal and unlicensed. Even more concerning, according to the DSS, these are not the type of arms that are allowed to be owned by private individuals at all. These appear to be military-grade weapons that only security forces should have access to. So the question becomes even more serious. How did Malami, the former Attorney General of the Federation, gain access to these kinds of weapons that even licensed gun owners are not allowed to possess? Who supplied him with these arms? What was he planning to do with them? As it stands now, Malami is returning back to DSS custody immediately until they complete their investigation into the illegal arms found in his possession. This is separate from the corruption case he is already facing. He could now be looking at additional terrorism-related charges on top of the money laundering and corruption charges. If Malami is found to have been financing terrorists in Nigeria or supplying them with weapons, he will face the full wrath of the law. Following the new policy announced by General C.G. Musa that friends of terrorists will be treated like terrorists, if Malami is proven to have been arming terrorist groups, he will be treated exactly like a terrorist himself. This could mean even harsher punishment than what he was facing for the corruption charges. The discovery of these weapons raises very disturbing questions about Malami's possible involvement in Nigeria's security crisis. During his time as Attorney General, Boko Haram and bandit groups were very active and seemed to have access to sophisticated weapons despite military efforts to stop arms smuggling. Could Malami have been one of the sources supplying weapons to these groups? Was he using his position as Attorney General to protect arms dealers and weapons smugglers? Was he directly involved in arming the terrorists and bandits who have been killing Nigerians? These are questions that the DSS investigation must answer thoroughly. Malami's case might be the first concrete evidence of this high-level involvement in terrorism. If the investigation is done properly and thoroughly, it could expose a whole network of government officials who have been enabling and supporting terrorism in Nigeria. Nigerians are completely shocked by this development, but at the same time not entirely surprised. Many people have always suspected that some politicians and government officials were secretly involved in the insecurity plaguing Nigeria. Now there is evidence to support these suspicions. People are saying that if a former Attorney General can be caught with illegal arms in his house, then anything is possible in Nigeria. They are demanding that the DSS investigation be thorough and transparent, with regular updates to the public about what they are finding. They want to know the full extent of Malami's involvement with illegal weapons and whether he has connections to terrorist groups. Most importantly, Nigerians want to see justice served without any political interference or cover-up. This case has now become an even bigger test for Nigeria's justice system than before. The corruption charges against Malami were already serious, but this new development involving illegal arms and possible terrorism links takes it to another level entirely. The government must ensure that this investigation is handled professionally and that Malami receives no special treatment or protection because of his former position. If the evidence shows he was involved in arming terrorist or criminal groups, he should face the maximum punishment allowed by law. Anything less would be a complete failure of justice and would confirm Nigerians' worst fears that powerful politicians are above the law no matter what crimes they commit. What do you think about the discovery of illegal arms in Malami's house? Does this prove that some politicians are involved in arming terrorists? What punishment should Malami receive if found guilty? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Now, imagine a whole Attorney General of a federation. Attorney General, look the kind of crime with they cash out with. There are other things attached to it, as you can see. This is the reason why Abacha, late General Sani Abacha said, is that any insurgency that lasts more than 24 hours in a nation, note that the government officials are behind it. This is it. This is what we Nigerians have been talking about. You see this insecurity of this country, and this insecurity, the politicians, the leaders, those are in power, and those outside power are behind this insecurity. Yes, they are behind it because they are benefiting from it. They are making money. Aside their corruption, aside the looting, the ones they are looting, aside the public funds they are looting, there's money. They are making money. They are making money from this insecurity that is going on across this country. Because what's the insecurity for country? Maybe like say government officials, they not fit take care of within at least, let's just say 1 year, in 12 months, insecurity for country. Governments not fit take care of within 1 year, within 12 months. No, it's not possible. Since it don't be like this, we all don't know before. We don't know. With no doubt, we know say them now them be the sponsor of this insecurity for this country. No doubt. It's very obvious that they are behind it. And now so they're going to catch them one by one. It's either they use their mouth confess, they're going to confess unknowingly, or they're going to catch them. They're going to catch them. See the gumi. Those one are one. One person will be like say the federal government, if not be corruption, down and one of the person will be like say federal government really need to pay attention to that gumi. But just because of corruption, they look at the true face for the illegal things. Then we need to talk. The illegal things then we need to talk for this country, and they look at the true face because of corruption. And I continue. I go touch all of them one by one for this country.